Good evening. Welcome to Concord Township Board of Trustee meeting for March 19th, 2025. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Rose, will you please call roll?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. McIntosh.
Present.
Mr. Dondorfer.
Present.
Mrs. Lucci.
Present. Moving on to the approval of minutes.
Madam Chair, move to approve the March 3rd, 2025 staff meeting minutes.
And I will second.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Madam Chair, I will make a motion to approve the March 5th, 2025 regular trustees meeting minutes.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Moving on to elected officials reports. Mr. Patriarca is not with us. We wish him and his family well during this time. So we will move to our trustees, and we'll begin with Mr. McIntosh.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, it's nice. We're in the full spring now. We got spring coming up tomorrow, and we've had some nice weather. So unfortunately, I'm sure it's not the last time we're going to see snow here soon. Want to say, just put a shout out to the service department. I know since our last meeting that they went up and helped some residents out on Fairfield Road with the drainage issue. Went a little bit above and beyond and tried to help resolve an issue between some property owners and take care of a emergent problem. It was a great mixing of township responsibility and just doing the right thing to help out as we try to do. So hats off to them. I know we had a really tremendous story over the weekend. I think it was the crash out on I-90 in Concord Township. We had some good Samaritans come in and save some lives and helped out. So that was very great to see. And of course, our fire department out on I-90 is a regular occurrence. So want to thank them for that. And I know that some people might have heard that the Quail Hollow Hotel was up for auction, and that is correct. It was. There was an auction last week, and there was a winning bid, so it is in the process of being sold, but there is legal action, so it would be premature to say that it has definitely been sold and that that's what's going to happen and that we know what the owner's going to do with it. So still a lot of mystery, but it does seem that when the JED commissioned that Silver Lode report, it kind of ruffled the bushes, so to speak, and things have started. There's been a lot of people looking at the property for purchase, and then this thing happened. So we do see some movement and hope that something positive ends up happening out of this, but we'll be staying tuned to see where the legal path goes and what the new buyers come forward with as far as their interest in that property. And with that concludes my report.
All right. Thank you, Mr. McIntosh. Mr. Dondorfer.
Thank you, Mrs. Lucci. Yeah, I'm sort of excited about the Quail Hollow. I hope this goes through. I mean, it's been a Achilles tendon for this board at least, and hopefully moving forward, we're seeing some productivity out of that, but hopefully it moves forward. I would also like to commend the service department. I drove by that site over on Fairfield, and that has been an issue for those neighbors over there with that new construction and existing residents. And the guys that went out there and did the right thing and helped them out and gave some guidance, not only to them but some additional residential developments regarding their retention basin. So again, Tim and his staff do an outstanding job, so thank you to them. Did receive a couple calls on some opinions voicing some concern they had regarding the noise ordinance that we have tabled as old business. I think we'll have some further discussion on that later on in the meeting. We did get some updates on the water line expansion project and road improvement project on Auburn Road. That's looking like it's going to progress quickly for the township, which is good for those residents over there. And with that, that's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Dondorfer. So I would like to echo both of you with our service department's prompt service. They not only were very helpful with Fairfield, Tim and his crew took care of some issues on Oak Ridge. I know a lot of people have questions, and as soon as they send emails, Tim and his crew are usually out there managing the situation. He is also helping to put a speed limit sign on Page Drive, which I think that's still moving forward.
It is.
A couple residents reached out about that, so thank you very much for our service department. So we're looking forward to our summer concert series. The lineup, I think, was recently submitted or put on Facebook or on our website, so we're excited about that. We also have had a few other residents interested in purchasing the veterans banners, and I know Andy's been looking into it. There's a lot of different things to address before you can just go ahead and implement. So we're thinking maybe in the next year or so, looking into that. So appreciate your help. I am looking forward to having coffee with Andy tomorrow, so hope to see everybody there. And tomorrow we also have our Lake County Township Association meeting,
do,
which
yeah.
Mr. McIntosh is our president, and so we'll get a chance to hear from some of our other county officials for updates, as well as the OTA legislative
Yes.
director will be joining us, so that'll be very nice to hear. And aside from that, I hope everyone has a great rest of the week and weekend.
And Ms. Lucci, thank you for bringing up Mr. Brooks coming to the LCTA meeting. I think it's important I'd like to expand on that. And there's a lot of stuff happens in Columbus, and we've been together as a board now for 6 or 7 years, and there's a lot of things we need to pay attention to it and get involved in that affect townships. There's a lot of talk about property taxes, and honestly, every time the state has tried to fix its unfavorable tax situation, they tried to help manufacturing 15 to almost 20 years ago now. They also had a budget problem about 12 or 14 years ago. Every time the state legislature has gone to fix the tax problem or the budget problem with the state of Ohio, local communities suffer. So when our residents come to us and they complain about levies, that's because money we get from the state gets taken away when the state makes action. So there's a lot of calls to address the property tax situation, and we recognize it's a problem. We've talked about that, but if the legislature follows their pattern, they're going to do that to the detriment of local communities, which doesn't change the pressure that is put on us to put levies on the ballot in order to adequately fund the government here in Concord Township. So it's really important that the local townships stay engaged, and that's why we have Kyle coming up to talk with us.
Yeah, and I appreciate your leadership in our township association. It does make the Ohio state have stronger, when we go to the legislature, we are a stronger force when the townships represent in that such a way. So looking forward to that tomorrow. And we will move on to our department reports with our administrator, Mr. Rose.
Thank you, Mrs. Lucci, members of the board, members of the audience. Good evening. Welcome, Mr. Elko. I'll start with the items on the agenda. Items B and C are votes to reappoint Rich Peterson is under item B, and then Davy Rowan for the Board of Zoning Appeals is under item C for another term. I encourage a favorable vote. Item E and F are purchase orders for equipment that's needed at our fire department. Item E is the Lucas devices, which do chest compressions. And then item E is equipment related to blood monitoring equipment. All of those are being paid for with the One Ohio Opioid Fund money that we receive from the opioid settlements. I think the big ticket items are items G, H, and I. Those are votes related to the change order. This is for the Auburn Road portion of the waterline project. The change order is for $286,696.84 to Trax Construction. And then there's a engineering services change in the amount of $37,900. But then item H is an agreement between Concord Township and Lake County that was done by conversations between the Lake County engineers and Concord Township. Because Auburn Road, a portion of that, about 1,900 feet, is scheduled to be repaved, it's in conjunction with our project. We will be reimbursed for that up to an amount of $145,000. So that takes some of the sting out of the $286,000 change order, and we appreciate the working relationship and the cooperation of the Lake County engineer and his staff in getting this worked out. So I encourage a favorable vote on those. And while I'm on that subject, the water line project, we just got the updated schedule from Bob Parker and Jeff Henfling, and theirs should be starting to mobilize next week. And then the following week, work will begin in earnest on Auburn Road. If the weather holds out, they should be complete by the end of June with that portion. And then moving on to other items, we still continue to have some discussions regarding several economic development projects in the RD2 light industrial area in the Capital District. So we're encouraged and discussions continue. The annual update for receiving federal grants was completed last week. We did receive our confirmation, and this is an annual certification, so we are fully eligible for any federal grants through the System for Award Management. So that's all set for the next year. Speaking of grants, we still continue to seek out grant opportunities. We will be submitting our grant to Congress for the fiscal year 26 Community Project Funding Program. The deadline for that submittal was extended to March 27th because everybody's waiting for the official FY26 guidance from the Congressional Committee. So once that's published, we've been in contact with Congressman Joyce's office. His staff has been fantastic to work with. So we're excited to get our proposals into the Congressman's office and get them forwarded on, hopefully, to the committees. Earlier today, the service director and I attended the bid opening for the joint road resurfacing project. That project involves the Lake County Engineers Road projects, Concord Township, Painesville Township, and Leroy Township. We all went in on the joint road project. The engineer's estimate was about $1.95 million. I think 6 bids came in. The winning bid came in at $1.67 million. So prices were very good, and we're hearing that the asphalt resurfacing prices have been favorable and are looking favorable for this year. The county engineer will be breaking down the portions for each community. I anticipate our share will be under the amount we budgeted for the project, which is very good news. And Mr. Brown was very happy with the overall bid. And so we'll move on. We should get some clarity on that within the next week on what each community's individual share of that 1.67 million is. As it was talked about, I continued to track the pending sale of Quail Hollow Hotel. The auction closed last week. The approval for the sale is all currently pending in court, so that'll probably churn for a week or two is my guess, maybe a little longer. And then hopefully that sale gets finalized, and then we'll start entering into discussions with the new owner on their intentions. And then finally, I look forward to the next coffee with the administrator, which is tomorrow, 9 a.m. at the community center, and that concludes my report.
All right, thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Rose. Moving on to the audience portion. Anyone here that would like to speak?
Larry Vanderhorst. I live at the corner of Prouty and Route 84, and I know we were supposed to have a state tornado drill today, and the sirens were supposed to be set off. I don't know. I didn't hear sirens. Did you guys hear sirens?
I did not hear anything.
I did not.
I saw it. It said the sirens were supposed to go off, so I would talk to the county if I were you guys and find out how come they didn't go off.
Yeah, we can reach out to Joe Busher from EMA and find out.
Since I used to work for Perry, and we did have the responsibility for some sirens in the county. So the other thing I wanted to add, just to carry on the conversation you had about the noise, living on Prouty Road and all the motorcycles and everything going down it, you think it was the on-ramp to Talladega, okay, when they take off down the street. So I just was wondering if we do have a noise ordinance or what? What's the story with that?
We already do.
Yeah.
We have one in place since 19 Eight,
I
90.
think
we was
right around 2000 was it?
We had one, it was updated in 2000.
It was updated in 2000.
Right,
Yeah,
the
it's
latest one is
11.
dated in 2000.
It's unreasonable offensive noise between 11 p and 8 a.m. I believe.
7.
7 a.m.
7 a.m. So, okay, 11 to 7.
Sundays, it's 8 a.m.
Right. Sunday's the 8 a.m.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess motorcycles without any mufflers is okay.
Well, they should have an exhaust. I mean,
Yeah,
you know, motorcycles are a little bit different of a challenge, especially when they're going by the house. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
as with a loud car, it's different if you have somebody doing some work stationary on a property or a party or things of that nature. That, you know, if you call and make a complaint, the sheriff comes out and investigates it. Usually gives them a warning, and if it persists, then we can cite them.
okay. The other thing I wanted to bring up is we had our telephone pole replaced. That's right on the corner of our property up there, and because somebody hit it and knocked the top off, top snapped off, and if you with that, when they replaced it, they took the sign down for Prouty Road, and the semi trucks, when they turn that corner, they kind of clip the sign so the end of it gets bent off. So I would suggest that you guys talk to the county or whoever puts a sign up to put it on the other side of the road on the telephone pole. Therefore, it wouldn't be hit with the semi trucks.
I'll take care of that tomorrow. I'll take care of that tomorrow morning.
Yep.
Okay, and that's all I have.
Very well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, moving on to old business.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to untable resolution 2025-5, the noise resolution.
And I will make a motion to approve.
Your
No,
second the
Oh, I'm
table.
going to second, yeah, the table.
Yeah.
So do we need a roll call to untable?
No, ma'am, just a vote, affirmative vote.
All in favor of retabling,
Untable.
Untable.
untabling the noise resolution?
Aye.
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 And now I will make a motion to approve.
Okay.
I'll start off.
We'll make the motion first.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-05 noise resolution.
And I will second that motion.
There you go.
Discussion. Would you
Okay.
like to start?
So I know we both, or all of us, dealt with or talked to several people within the community on both sides of the noise resolution here. There was some discussion. We deliberated, talked with people either by phone or through email or here at Town Hall. You know, and I've thought a lot about it. And I was involved back in early 2000 when we started looking at this noise resolution with the township when I was at the Sheriff's Department. And we sort of went out and reached out to other communities to see what was reasonable as far as a time frame and what noises would be enforced and things of that nature. And it just seems reasonable and logical that 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Monday through Saturday, and then extending it to 8 o'clock on Sunday is reasonable. And I know that the Sheriff's Department, at least the administration there, believes that's still reasonable even today. And I just think maybe if it was to be extended, to later on Sundays, I think it's more of an inconvenience to our residents than in as far as during certain periods of time, the time people like to get their chores done earlier, things around the house. It gets warmer earlier in the summer. People have things going on, especially on the weekend or a Sunday. So I just believe it, where it's at as far as a timeline or a timetable as far as 8 a.m. on Sunday, I think is reasonable. And, I know there's those occurrences that happen, or, there might be a certain project that's, not something that happens all the time that can be somewhat offensive if it's early in the morning on a Sunday when people are sleeping in. But I think those occurrences probably are few and far between. That's where I'm at with it.
Okay, Mr. McIntyre?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was I think this was a good faith effort. I know there was a lot of complaints, and I think there are no shortage of nuisance noise bits, but I spent some time with the legislation, looked at it myself, and the feedback that we received in the meeting, and I did get some feedback. It's the same thing. It's kind of like the trash. Like, I live in a township. I don't want big government. That's why I'm here. I think the community is fairly divided, and there's a lot of people that ask us, what can the city do? And they want us to do things more like this. However, I looked at it and thought that the legislation was quite expansive in comparison to what we have. And I looked at, trying to thin it down maybe a little bit, or could we take some things out and make it, and it just seemed like that was no way to do that it, as proposed, the new one was very restrictive and robust, and I just felt that wasn't really Concord Township right now. So again, it was a good faith effort. It was a reasonable exercise for us to, I think, consider and weigh it, and we did have community feedback, which is always valuable, and by far most of the feedback was don't do this. So I don't find it's something that we should feel necessary to do at this time.
Yeah, I received a lot of feedback too, and most of the feedback was it's not really broken. Why are we going to fix it? And I think, especially in the summer, we don't get many nice days where we can get out and early and do our lawn, and then we want to go and enjoy the rest of our weekend. And I felt for some of the businesses too, landscapers have to get their work done. If it's a bad week during the week and all they have is one day to get all of their work done, it kind of doesn't give them much opportunity. And I agree with you. I felt like it was too restrictive. Mm-hmm. So, do we want to vote?
Yep.
Is that a roll call vote or no?
I'll take a roll call vote.
Okay.
Mr. Dondorfer?
No.
Mr. McIntosh?
No.
Mrs. Lucci?
No.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Moving on to new business.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the February financial report.
And I'll second.
Any discussion? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Madam Chair, I will make a motion to reappoint Richard Peterson as zoning commission member for a term effective April 1st, 2025 through March 31st, 2030.
Second.
Any discussion?
I served with Rich, and he continues to be a value on that board, I believe.
Yeah, he's very valuable. He's done a great job. Happy to have him continue on.
Yeah, very excited that he sent us a letter saying that he was still interested. So, all in favor?
Aye. Madam Chair, I move to reappoint Davey Rowan as Board of Zoning Appeals member for a term effective April 1, 2025 through March 31, 2030.
And I will second that motion.
Any discussion?
I think Davey's just wrapping up his first term, so I think just getting going, and again, I think he's done good work, and it's good to see people come forward and want to serve.
I agree.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Madam Chair, I will make a motion to approve the appointment of regular firefighter medic Ryan Nappy to the position of firefighter 1 effective March 30th, 2025.
And I will second.
Any discussion?
No.
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Madam Chair, move to approve Fire Department PO in the amount of $20,719.85 to Stryker for the purchase of Lucas Check Test Compression System.
And I will second.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Madam Chair, I will make a motion to approve a PO for the fire department in the amount of $15,780 to Bound Tree Medical for the purchase of emergency medical equipment.
And I will second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Madam Chair, I move to approve the change order in the amount of $286,696.84 to Trax Construction for the Auburn Girdle Road Water Line Project.
And I will second.
Any discussion?
I think Mr. Rose gave a good background, but I know we had a presentation from Mr. Parker during office hours that sort of explained the fact that the county engineer was requiring us to change the plan as we presented it last fall, which cost extra money. They did come forward with some funds to sort of wash it out. So I think we've done a good job working with them and trying to keep this as conservative as possible. And again, we're using ARPA grant money to do a lot of this, and the county was cooperative with us. So a lot of money to keep the project moving, but well worth it, I believe.
Definitely.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the agreement between Lake County, Ohio and Concord Township for the Auburn Girdle Road Waterline Project Change Order Number 4.
And I will second.
Any further discussion on this?
This is the agreement where they will reimburse us up to $145,000 for that 1,900 feet of paving on Auburn Road that's in conjunction with our project, so we appreciate the engineers.
No, we appreciate their cooperativeness.
Yes. Okay, all in favor?
Aye. Madam Chair, I will make a motion for a change order in the amount of $37,900, excuse me, to CEC Incorporated for construction administration of the Auburn Girdle Road Waterline Project.
And I will second.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rose, will you please future meetings and announcements?
Thank you, Ms. Lucci. On March 21st at 8 a.m., the Joint Economic Development District will hold their board meeting here at Town Hall at 8 a.m. On March 31st at 3 p.m. Will be the Township Staff Meeting here at Town Hall. On April 1st at 7 p.m., the Zoning Commission will meet here at Town Hall. And on April 2nd, from 5 to 6 p.m. will be trustee office hours in the conference room. And then at 6 p.m. will be the trustee meeting here at Town Hall. That
All right.
concludes the announcements.
Thank you, Mr. Rose.
Thank you.
That includes our meeting for this evening. Have a good
evening.
evening. Thank you.